Episode 4 of the Daily Dozen, spotlighting players to watch going into the 2016 season, all in alphabetical order. That's Jason Jewell. I'm Jared Cohn. We normally bring you the Rock and Refuel recruiting roundup. Jason, how about a White Mountain lineman? Say that 5 times fast. A White Mountain lineman to get us started.
I'll start off with J.R. Fox from Snowflake. I saw this kid play live last year in the playoffs against Estrella Foothills, and I thought he had a tremendous motor. Then I saw him again in camp this season at the U of A camp over at Glendale Community College and was very, very impressed with him. He's a guy, all-state performer, had 12 sacks last year for Snowflake, and plays with a tremendous motor.
Let's go over to Scottsdale, Desert Mountain, Rourke Freeberg. Talk about a guy that, from my perspective, seemingly came out of nowhere last year at the safety position. 81 tackles, 3 sacks, first team all-conference, and this offseason added his first offer from North Dakota. I think there's going to be many more to come because this guy is a flat football player for the Wolves.
I remember a couple years ago, I first spotted Ralph Frias on some tape and saw this guy that was 6'6" and 300 pounds. And when I looked up on the roster to see who he was and how old he was, Ralph was only a freshman. Now going into just his junior season, has an offer from New Mexico State, and the kid is just massive. Still very, very raw, but a very talented player that obviously has next level potential. Plays left tackle at Stafford High School and is going to be a tackle at the next level as well.
One of the best all-around athletes that Arizona has to offer is Elijah Gamage. We saw him start at the quarterback position the last 2 years under Coach Rutt over at Valley Christian. This guy can play receiver, he can play defensive back, he can do things on special teams, plus he's a quarterback. He plays basketball, baseball, track, does a little bit of everything, and he's obviously one of the most talented athletes that we have to offer in this state.
Yeah, speaking of talented, I go with Bryce Gilbert, the tight end / wide receiver over at Higley High School. He's committed to the University of Arizona. I can't say enough good things about this young man. Had over 1,000 yards receiving last year as a junior. He's a guy that was a very good basketball player as well, and then he committed himself to being a star on the football field. He's gained 30 pounds and ended up blowing up and had big time college football offers. Now he's 6'5" and 230 pounds, and like I said, committed to the University of Arizona.
One of the more underrated offensive lines in the state, I think, going into the season will be Notre Dame Prep, and their left tackle going into the season, Mike Giardan, is going to be their starter at the left tackle position. This guy's big, 6'4", 250 pounds, really like his film, has added an offer this offseason from the University of San Diego, and I think there will be a lot more to come with him once they see him progress this season.
You know, last year when Chase Lucas went down for Chandler High School, I think a lot of people were very worried, and rightfully so. The kid committed to Arizona State, he was a 4-star prospect, but then it led to the emergence of TJ Green. That's who I want to focus on right now. Just a breakout season last year for Green. He ended up rushing for over 1,000 yards and filled in very admirably for Chase Lucas, and now as a result of that great junior season, has multiple Division I scholarships. Boise State and Oregon State being two of just the few. A big-time player that has tremendous speed at Chandler High School.
We're going to do a run of 3 straight quarterbacks here, starting with Naz Greer over at Marcos Deniza, coming off a state championship appearance last season for the Padres. He had a great run, especially in the playoffs last year. 3,000 yards passing, 24 touchdowns last season. He added an offer from Arizona Christian, has a live arm, a very good playmaker, plays with a lot of energy and a lot of passion, and he'll be back looking for a big season this year.
I think normally when you need to fill in and replace a Division I quarterback, most high school coaches would be pretty scared. But over at Mountain Point and Norris Vaughn, they're replacing Jack Smith, who moved on to Arizona State. But I think they feel pretty good about who they have coming in to replace Smith, and Noah Grover. Big kid, very, very intelligent, 4.0 GPA that has some Division II offers for some very high academic schools, and hasn't played a ton yet. But those coaches, they're very big fans of him. And Mountain Point, we know that they're absolutely loaded, one of the preseason favorites in 6A. If they're going to have a chance to win that state championship, big things are going to be expected out of Noah Grover.
And one more quarterback to mention, Brock Hall over at Casa Grande. This is a guy, when you watch his film, this guy has Division I written all over him at the college level. I really like his game. He has a great arm. Last season, over 300 yards passing, 36 touchdown passes, plus 265 yards rushing and 4 rushing rushing touchdowns. Casa Grande's moving up. They're going to be in 4A, and they're going to be in a really tough section this year. But I think having a signal caller like Brock Hall will make that transition pretty seamless for them, and they'll continue the success they began with last year.
Yeah, no doubt. And I want to, it's very rare that you get to be the first to do something. That's exactly what Donovan Hanna is at American Leadership Academy. He is the first Division I football player out of that program. He's committed to BYU. Also an all-state basketball player, but he's 6'6". He's 220 pounds, very raw, but he has those uncoachable tools that made him very attractive to BYU. He got that early offer and committed to them already.
And last but certainly not least for this episode, defensive end and wide receiver for Desert Ridge, the defending state runner-ups last season. It's Jalen Harris, and he had just under 800 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns in his breakout season last year. Also a fantastic pass rusher. He's long, lengthy, skilled, fast, and man, did he see his recruitment blow up this offseason. Multiple Power 5 offers. He is one of the top recruited players in the state of Arizona and one of the top players on what expects to be another very good Jeremy Hathcock coached Desert Ridge football team. That's Jason Jewell. I'm Jared Cohen. This has been episode 4 of the Daily Dozen.